what's going on? I'm going to try to make this one short and sweet, even though this is actually something I really want to talk about because I was just crunching numbers, and these figures are pretty fucking cool. I recorded about 10 minutes worth of this show earlier today, but I was very distracted. I was driving. I was trying to make a right-hand turn on the far left side of the road, going right, cross traffic. So I was just very distracted and all over the place. And it took me 10 minutes to say what I'm probably about to say in 30 seconds. So all that was, I'm going to jump right in because I'm tired. It's 10:21 p.m. and I need to go to bed 2 hours ago. I was already exhausted today. And so the fact that I'm just so far behind sleep as it is right now, it's just not good. I'm very tired. Anyway, so I was just thinking about this last week and the opportunities that have come my way and how that affects me financially. So I crunched all the numbers to see what I could do and pretty much to see which option would be best for me because I love this stuff. It's pretty funny because I always talk about how I crunch all the numbers in Excel. I write out all the hypotheticals and I look at it. And now it's almost like I feel like I'm okay to do that now because what I'm doing to be paid and to provide value for businesses now is spreadsheets and is essentially providing them a dashboard of data. There's a software name, Data Dashboard. That's pretty cool. Track all sorts of shit. That's an idea. Let's write that down. Data Dashboard. All things data. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so let's get into it. I'm really tired. So in this show, again, I'm going to share a lot of personal financial shits. I really don't care because I think it's going to be cool to look back on later. So here we are. So as far as credit card debt, I am in debt about $12,745. Car, I have about $7,500 left. PT Domination, I have $2,500 left, even though they just waived that. I actually have $3,000 left. They just took a payment out today, and then they said they said they waived it. Card can't or failed. Then they retried. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I have to talk tomorrow with them. But anyway, car is $7,500. I have a loan that's about $3,000. I have PT Dom, which is $2,500. I'm canceling Everfit. I'm canceling CapCut. I'm canceling verification. And when you add up all those things together, it's $1,367. So that is what I would have freed up once all these things are paid off. Now, the grand total to do all this is $25,745 in order for me to pay off everything that I just said. Pretty sure that's right. Yeah. So that's what I would need to pay everything off. But when I do that, that would free up $1,367 per month. So this is where it gets cool. So obviously I'm negative $1,000 a month as is. With Mina's money in there, I'm negative $400 a month. And now that we have Brian in here and I'm working for PT Domination, we've got more hours there. Like for example, on my hours spreadsheet, I made a whole spreadsheet that's automatically tracking my hours. It's pretty sick. So I'm already at essentially 23 hours for the week so far. So I got a payout coming of $705 minimum right now. So that's pretty cool. I've got it all. I've actually got it. This spreadsheet is pretty fucking sick. If I do say so myself. Anyway, that is definitely going to be providing some money for sure. So that's very cool. And I'm very thankful because I think this is going to get me to whatever that next level is for me. I'm not saying it's the next big gargantuan thing, but whatever that next level is, maybe it's bigger, smaller, whatever, more percent, whatever. This is going to get me there for sure. Because if I just kept everything the same with Mina, how it is, the 5 hours a week, which sounds like that's how it would be. Sounds like he doesn't want to lose me, wants to keep me there, and I don't know. If that never changed, and I just worked 5 hours a week, but I continued working just 20 hours per week for Brian, that's a profit of $3,080. So $3,080, if I didn't pay off a single thing of debt whatsoever, that would bring me positive $2,000 a month. Now, $2,000 a month, if I were to take the deferred resignation program, that's 5 months, that's 10 grand. So I'm not even halfway there to the total amount, but I would be able to pay off everything except the credit card debt, which would then make my freed up payment amounts. That would be about $1,000. So still quite an improvement. So not a huge deal. But anyway, there's that. Now, if I continue working for Brian 20 hours a week, give or take 5, because for example, I'm definitely going to hit 30 this week. Next week, maybe I'll only hit 10, So if you average it out 20, I don't know. I think that's fair. If I keep it still at 20, but I put Mina at that thing that we were talking about, 2 hours a day doing all things operations, that would be fucking sick. And that would be about 15 hours a week. So it would 3x my income from him. So instead of $600 a month, it would be $1,800 a month. So $1,800 plus Brian's $2,480, that's $4,280. Now, if I didn't pay off a single thing of debt, that puts me net positive about $3,000. So that's $3,000 over 5 months. That's 15 grand. So that's better. So that's hopefully we can get that going with Mina. Now, here's the thing. So we all know what the debt snowball is. Once you pay off, for example, let's say I have 3 payments. They're all 3 payments. One's $300 a month. The other one's $200. The other one's $100. I pay off the $300 a month one, and then rather than just making my $200 a month payment on the $200 one, I then roll my $300 a month payment that's already paid off into the $200 a month, because I'd be paying that anyway, and then it lets me pay off the $200 one faster, and then I do the same thing for the $100 a month. So I can do that, meaning, I'd have to make a whole timeline of this, which I probably will, because I want to see a graph. But if I'm positive $3,000 a month, then month 1 I could pay off my loan. Month 2 I could. Oh, you know what? I got to subtract BT down from this because that's not part of it. It's waived. So it would be only about $23,000. So month 1, car loan's gone. Month 2 and 3, car is paid off. A little bit longer than that. And the month 4 and 5, those payments in the remaining amount would pay off about half the credit card debt. And because there's multiple cards in there, it might lower it, to 150 or something like that. So that's what would happen if I didn't take the deferred resignation program, or if I did whatever. I guess the point I'm trying to make is whether I do or do not take it, those figures remain the same. Because I'll tell you what, when I'm doing this, when I'm trying to code and I'm trying to learn software development, I'm trying to do it spreadsheets, and I'm trying to do the JavaScript, Google App Script shit, automations in the back. That is so fucking sick to me. That is so exciting for me. I love it. There's a reason why I've put 23 hours in this week, and it's Tuesday, because it's so easy for me. I love it. I want to do it. So I don't see that being any kind of problem whatsoever. So where was I going with all this? So even if I do work, if I don't take the deferred resignation, which I haven't heard anything. We got emails, and it just said, hey, we got your request. We'll let you know what we decide. It's pretty much what the email was. So maybe I go in tomorrow and there's some more info, but for now, we'll wait. But either way, I'm getting my full-time job pay, and then I'll be getting these 2 pays. So as far as income goes, that is set. So I'm looking at about $15,000 over the next 5 months. That's profit that I can put towards debt and getting out of debt. And my goal is I don't give a fuck about being in debt. What I give a fuck about is freeing up monthly cash flow to be, I guess, just redirected into something else, or to just be freed up so I'm not under so much financial tension. Because I've said this before, but if I'm moving in with Lexi, I want to make sure that my end is taken care of, so that so that neither of us give any reason whatsoever to cause stress or arguments or whatever over finances, because she does very well for herself. I'm doing well for myself, even though I'm negative $1,000 a month. But combine everything and then drop the rent and all that stuff, will be all right. So I'm not worried at all. Anyway, so income would stay the same with my job, whether or not I take the resignation or not. But if I did take it, that frees up a lot more time, and truth be told, I think I will, but let me explain. So after that, if I were to keep everything going, let's just assume that that's paid off, right? Or very close. It's I don't know, probably be I'd probably pay off about $1,200 worth of this debt. That would free up the monthly income, Not to mention, I would get a $400. We would see a $400 difference in rent. So that would boost. Let me see. What would that be? Then difference. So I'd be about positive $4,000 come September. Now, $4,000 in September is, let's see, $4,000 in September. That would mean I would have 1 more month or 2 more months, and then I'd be debt free. So here's the thing. So with all these adjustments from the bills and expenses and all those things being paid off, the money from Mina, the money from Brian, the adjustment in the rent, and all of that, I'm looking at, let's see, so I'm at 400. Let me calculate this really quick. So expenses, so 2576. Let me see real quick. Then expenses at minus 425.76. So my income at that point would be $75.80. Not to mention I get a cost of living raise, so it's probably an extra $100 a month. I don't know, $100 a paycheck actually. So if it was 3%, that would raise it by $1 an hour. $1 an hour times 160. It'd be about $100 extra a month, but whatever. So my then expenses in October 1st would be $25.76 roughly per month. And if I'm making $75.80, that's where that $5,004 income difference comes from. So that's with my job. Now, if I quit my job, that means I have $5,004. Guys, this is actually fucking crazy how these numbers lined up. I wish I could go back and listen to these podcasts and find the exact thing I'm looking for. But $5,004 is exactly the amount of money that I make from my full-time job as is. The exact amount. So, oh wait, I did this wrong. Oh, fuck. Expenses. Wait, fuck, income. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, I did this wrong. Okay, so never mind. That was going to be fucking crazy because I was going to say $5,004 is the exact same amount of money that I make currently. And if that's what I'd be making without the job in a couple months' time, then that's crazy. It's just the numbers. But that's not true. That's including my full-time pay. So let's just say I take the deferred resignation and come October, I resign. I don't have that job anymore. I would still be taking home, let's see, it'd be 75.80 minus 33. So I would still be taking home $4,200. Now, $4,200 would be my take home, not working a job. That's just from Mina and Brian, and that's it. That's my income. Minus my expenses, and I've got about, that would be, what is that? What did I just say? 42. Yeah, 4280. We'll just say it's 4,200 minus expenses. We'll just round it up 2,600. So I've got 1,600 profit. So I don't even have a full-time job. I'm not even working I don't have a job, but I'm positive $1,600 a month because all my shit is paid off and taken care of. If I didn't pay off any debt or anything like that whatsoever, then I would just break even. So all this to say, when you run the numbers, I am able to successfully quit my job if I wanted to and still make enough money to survive. Now, obviously, this would be as soon as I pay everything off. So the best course of action for me would be to take the deferred resignation, use up all this extra time and learn and build something and, all this stuff. And then that way, October 1st rolls around, I'm out of debt where, by the end of the year, I would have zero debt. This doesn't even include student loans because I think that's $10,000, but the monthly payment's a total of $40, so it's like $10,000 for $40. Just whatever, But again, all this to say, when you run the numbers, I am able and I am going to and will be quitting my job no matter what this year. So I just put it on paper, got the numbers, and here we are. So now obviously this is provided everything goes well with Brian and nothing changes and I still work my hours. It's also provided that I have the opportunity with Mina, which if I don't have it now, I'm sure I will sometime this year. But if that didn't happen, then that lowers the income by about $1,200. $1,200 lowering my income actually makes it so I am still $400 positive. So even if I only continue working for Mina 5 hours a week and I only work for Brian 20 hours a week, that income there, that is going to be enough for me to survive. So pretty cool stuff. And yeah, this is why I like crunching numbers. This is why I like trying to see how things play out so I can, kind of just see, because I might have paralysis by analysis. Yeah, I might have paralysis by analysis, but I'll tell you what, dude, I definitely have all the data in my court here. I can see. Yeah, I just realized the fucking mic is not even plugged in. Cool. So the whole time I'm sitting there adjusting it, all good. Oh, man. Annoying, bro. Also, today's day 31 of Blade, which means I'm not on it. So that means I can bitch and moan and complain all I want and not restart. So, yeah, fuck that, dude. How about just always be on? Oh, well. Anyway, guys, so, again, just want to summarize this because I want to go to bed. I'm going to quit my job this year as long as everything here goes well. I'm going to make some cool shit with software. I'm definitely going to push and make this happen. But more importantly, I think I want to absolutely take advantage of this resignation and just, I don't know, man, 20 hours a week with Brian, 15 hours a week with Mina. It's not even a full-time job. If I were to just take the other half of my days and dedicate them to building something that I could sell later, I don't know. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I'm making headway because last week none of this was even a thing. A week ago, I thought I was still being a fitness coach, but now I'm completely divorced of that and fucking thrilled and just excited. So life can happen, or things can happen really quick. It's pretty cool. Life can also happen really quick in the other way, and it's not cool at all. But anyway, that's what I got. And that was the show. So that was me crunching the numbers. That's kind of how I go through things. I'm going to run different hypothetical scenarios to see when things would be paid off when, so I can see how much money would be freed up by when and what dates, kind of make goals, stuff like that. Because if I just have an extra $3,000 rolling in, then it just makes it much easier to just take that $3,000 and then just throw it at a bill and then just not have to worry about it again. And just the thought that I wouldn't have to go to work, I could just wake up 6 a.m., spend the first 12 hours just working on shit, and then spend the last 4 hours of my day just hanging out. That sounds like a fucking dream. That sounds fantastic. So again, we're just going to wait. But it is a really, really cool feeling knowing that I could quit my job and I'd be fine. That is a very good feeling. Very good feeling. It, truthfully, it kind of makes you feel like I don't have to try as hard, or I can be my true authentic self at work. And if anything happens, then it's just like, all right, well, whatever. And what I'm alluding to is like if for example, I was late 30 minutes every single day, used all my PTO, was a piece of shit, always called in, cussed my manager out. If they were like, oh yeah, you're a piece of shit, you're fired, I would say, oh, I know, and I would be fine. I would never do that, but I like the thought of knowing that if something crazy happened and I just, whatever, I would be fine. So with that being said, I'd like to believe that this is my last year working a 9-to-5 for some kind of company, some kind of corporate job, government job, whatever, where I'm 9-to-5, whatever, doing shit that I don't want to do. So today at work, we're leaving, and the supervisor always kind of gives us a briefing at the end of the day, if we got any work coming, if we got any things we got to be aware of, whatever. And we haven't had work for the last week and a half now. And I've been loving it because I've spent every single minute that I possibly can at my desk with my laptop working on all this stuff. and it's been fucking awesome. And he said that we might be getting more work in. So today, he said we might be getting more work in tomorrow that would be able to be serviced and worked on Thursday. And I believe he said we're getting 3 or 4, I think, maybe 5. But there's 3 teams that don't have, there's 3 teams ahead of me that don't have work, meaning if we get 4 or more, I get a canopy. Meaning I'm definitely going to work, and that's fine. But now that I've been so, grinding toward what I want to do and doing that every single day, I just feel incredible. And so hearing that we're going to get work, I was like, fuck, dude, no, So, yeah, it's all good. I mean, that's my job. I got to do my job for sure. But it just kind of sucks because I've had the last week and a half to work on my stuff almost all day. I've had the opportunity to work all day, but I'm at work. I got a lot of people around. Even though I'm not working specifically on my own stuff, like I'll help other people do small things or I'll help them move their shit, and it's fun to socialize with some of these guys. Some of them are very funny. Some of them, absolutely want to not see ever again in my life. But yeah, so what's really cool about, I'm going to say this one more time and then I'm going to go to bed. What's really cool about all this is whether or not I get the deferred resignation or not, this is still going to work out in my favor. And I think that's so cool. And I'd like to believe that it's because I never gave up with anything that I've done up to this point. I've only pivoted. I've only, really had to humble myself and take a step back, make a pivot and say, you know what, this is not it for me. And if that means I got to restart, then so be it. And I think that's what I should have done years ago, but it took me this long to get to this point. Because what's interesting, I was thinking about this, is the things that I want to accomplish and achieve and do, those haven't changed. Like I dream about the day that I can buy my mom a car or a laptop or put her through school. I dream of these things. I dream of them. And every time that I think about, quote, taking a risk or betting on myself or doing something to make money or to invest in my financial, whatever, I always think of that. I always think, yeah, if I do this, I can make this much money and I can buy my mom a car. I always think that. That's always the number one thing. And it's not even a car or just buying my mom anything. It's just the fact that she did her damnedest when I was a little kid to provide and did everything. I was just talking with Lexi about this today. But I didn't know a life of, being poor or not having enough food or not having enough, I always had new clothes. I always had food on the table. I always had love. I had it all. And the truth be told, we struggled a lot. Now that I'm older, I can see that. And I look back and I'm like, holy shit, like my mom is the greatest person ever exist on the face of the earth. And I just want to, she raised me into who I am. I take a lot of credit for the choices I made, but she could have been a piece of shit mom. She could have not cared if I was drinking or into drugs. She could have not cared who my friends were. She could have been not strict or not disciplined with my grades or my work ethic or my attitude or whatever. She could have just been absent in that regard, but she wasn't. And so I owe a lot of, if not everything, of what I've accomplished and what I've yet to accomplish to her. And just the older I get, the more and more clear that is. So if I can do anything, I would just love to work my ass off to give her one hell of a, second half of her life. So love my mom to death. But yeah, that's always the why for me. It's always, I want to buy my mom a car. I want to put her through school. I want to buy her a laptop. I want to buy her a house, whatever. And it's cool because that why hasn't changed, but that why seems so much more within reach. A week ago I was a fitness coach. Now this week I'm essentially making 6 figures. When you add up all the numbers, combine it all, I'm really close. I think I'm like $700 a month off, something like that, from being in the 6-figure club. So I don't know. And what's cool is that it's been a week, not even a week, and it's like I've already done so much. If I compound this over the course of a year, what the hell, dude? Where am I gonna be? Where's my skill set gonna be? All right, guys, that's it. I'm very tired, so I'm gonna go to bed until 10:45 a.m. And it's 5:51. Making a lot of headway here. Also, I'm going to say this. You know how great it was? Oh, I didn't finish this thought yesterday. I went on this tangent, but I didn't finish the thought. So let me bring that around. I was talking about how I was doing 75 hard, and I was doing the blade, and I was reading 2 books, and I was trying to do another podcast, and I was trying to make content, and I was trying to stay active on social media. I was trying to DM people, even though I wasn't doing that. I was trying to post all the time. I was trying to make sure that I was watching the CLA modules and learning and implementing. I was trying to make sure that I was in the group and active. I was trying to do all this shit all at once. And I didn't think of it as being a focus problem because I didn't think that that's what focus was. I in my head, focus is staying fixated on one task, just one thing, or however long. But the truth is, I think I'm learning now that focus is literally that of just one singular thing. Because right now, I'm not doing anything that I don't want to or anything that doesn't get me closer to where I'm trying to go. So what I mean is I purposefully ended 75 hard so I didn't have to worry about anything that wasn't this. I just finished Blade 2 yesterday, so now I don't have to worry about posting and watching my mouth and complaining and stuff. I mean, which I should always do anyway, but, you know, I don't got to worry about hopping on my story and talking. I don't have to worry about recording videos in front of people. Don't have to worry about reading. Don't have to worry about drinking a gallon of water, even though I'm pretty close tonight. Don't have to worry about the double workouts. Don't even have to work out if I don't want to, which I always will. Not having to record the other podcast, and I might actually even, archive that because it's something I don't even want to. That was a great run, dude, but I don't even want to think about that shit, dude. I don't want to. I'd rather hone in all my focus on this because all it's going to take is a year or two of just ruthless focus. And if I love it already, dude, might even only be a year of just every day doing this shit for me to make the kind of income and impact and shit that I want to make. Because all I got to do is make one software that does really well, charge a subscription or whatever you call, whatever you use for software, but rent it out, lease it out, I don't know, for a company like PT Domination, and then get that monthly recurring revenue. And then while that's just making me money, dude, I just, offer support on that and then start making another one. And maybe I get the other one. Maybe the next 3 bomb, I don't get that much. Maybe the 4th or the 5th, maybe that does well. And I can have 2 softwares. And before you know it, dude, just some kind of tech entrepreneur CEO shit, making some money, helping people simplify their shit. So that was the thought that I wanted to finish. I just had so many different small things that I had going on. And now I don't have anything. And it's just bliss. I don't have to worry about anything else other than one thing at a time. And I think I'm going to try to keep it that way as long as I can. I mean, even this podcast makes me feel like I'm distracted, but they should only be 1 to 2 minutes long. They're always 30 minutes long now. So anyway, that's that thought. I'm going to bed. It's 10:49 p.m. It's April 22nd. Happy birthday, K-Bean son. I don't know if you listen to the show that much. Otherwise, I would have played some funny podcast music like I did for Shawnee. But love you either way. I hope you have a terrific day. Even though if you're hearing this, it's after your birthday. But I don't give a fuck. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
That's it for today. If you got some sort of value or you were entertained, please consider leaving a rating on the platform that you're listening on. It helps a ton. If you are looking for a more polished version of this show, you can check out the Allegiant Excellence podcast, where I go deep into mindset, discipline, fitness, and personal development as a man. And don't forget to check out the links below and read the description. There are sometimes things written there that didn't quite make it on the episode. So thank you so much for your ongoing support and a guy that has massive ambition but nothing to show for it quite yet. And as always, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen and support. I'll see you tomorrow.